Hello, hello, hello. Testing. Hey, I think we're live.
Hi.
Welcome everyone once again to another weekly stream of Causa.
Mhm.
This stream is a bit of a new stream in the regard that we're going to be talking something not precisely Causa related, but well, as you can probably see in the title, we want to speak a little bit about the Legends of Runeterra announcement, which is kind of a big deal, right? And we do also want to show off a little bit about of the new things of our game. With me once again is our CEO and no, actually not CEO and producer. That's Maureen. You are co-founder and creative director. That's the word. Creative director of Causa, Nico.
Hi everyone. Nice to see you again here sharing with us this Tuesday stream. And as Gabriel said,
Thursday.
this time Thursday
Thursday
stream,
stream. Yep.
we're going to speak mainly about the leaders. We have new surprises. We're going to play a little bit the new campaign of Causa, and also we want to discuss about this new announcement of a new game genre. So maybe we can start speaking about that, and then we go fully on Causa. What do you
Okay.
think?
Sure. I mean,
Also, if you want to share some comments during the stream, we're also happy to be speaking with you
absolutely.
about what do you think.
We've got the screen all set up so that we can see the chat this time instead of that other time where I had to keep tapping out. Now it's right there. We can keep looking at it. So any mention, we're ready and willing to read it. So, I guess we should just talk about this big announcement. So this kind of came out of the blue. Nobody expected it. At least I didn't expect anything about this. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't realized, or if you haven't seen the latest news developments regarding Riot Games,
Uh-huh.
they recently announced that they are working on and have actually a working version, working executable of a card game called Legends of Runeterra,
Mhm.
right? So, Legends of Runeterra is a collectible card game. It's set in the world of League of
I think
Legends,
that
right?
most of you knows about what we're speaking. I would like to know more about your impressions of the game. What do you think about what you
Okay,
see?
well, personally, I think it's interesting. I mean, the footage that they've shown, they keep saying that it's a preview, it's alpha, it's not ready. So I mean, you can kind of understand that there are a few things that might need a bit of a graphical update. A few HUD things I'm kind of not agreeing with how they display the information, but aside from that, I think it looks pretty good.
Mhm.
The one thing that kind of throws me off a bit is the way that you play it, because when you play it, apparently every time you take an action, your opponent has an opportunity to take an action in response. So it's very much a always kind of back and forth kind of activity, which is very different from most card games. Where
Mhm.
most card games, it's my turn, and then when I'm done, it's your turn. Or say for example Magic, where it's my turn, but whenever I do something, you can jump in if you'd like. You don't have to, but you can jump in if you have a instant spell or something that you can do during my turn.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I've played a Magic Arena recently, and having this if my opponent has an instant card in their hand, and I don't know, I summon a creature. I have to wait until my opponent realizes that he doesn't want to play that instant card, and I'm just okay. I've played my creature and I'm ready to do something else, but I can't because my opponent needs to say no. I'm not doing anything,
Mhm.
and I'm not a big fan of having that interrupting my play experience. My strategy, the things I've planned out in my head. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do in this turn. It gets interrupted every time I want to take an action.
Mhm.
Um, Now this is kind of different in regards for Legend of Runeterra, because this isn't a like sometimes if the opponent has the instant card, it's always right. So it's always a back and forth between both players. whereas one turn kind of ends when both of them say, "Okay, I've had enough." Similar to Gwent, right? Because Gwent
Yeah.
has that kind of, okay,
You
it's my
play one,
turn.
your opponent plays another card, and you're going.
Exactly.
Then
So it is kind of a back and forth until both agree. Okay, I think we're good. Um, at least that's how I understood it. I'm not sure. Hey, that's Maureen there in the on the
Hi,
chat.
Marine.
Welcome, Maureen. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a mix between feelings because personally I'm against that thing where it keeps interrupting you and it kind of it kind of stops you from going forward with your plan because you have to wait until your opponent does something. And I'm curious to want to see how they're gonna handle that because the few gameplay footage I've seen so far is always against an AI opponent.
No, no, no. There
No,
are
I
PvP.
I've
Yeah.
missed those. I haven't seen how the PvP works. Is it fast paced or do you kind of end up having to wait every time you play
I
something?
think that it's a fast-paced game, um, but that it's a game that, as you say, that needs more of your attention the whole time. And I'm not sure if that is the kind of strategic experience that I prefer. I prefer more like this Causa, more like a Hearthstone kind of turn where you can play and take your time and analyze more things, and you
Mm-hmm.
can take your turn, and if you need to go and to make a cup of coffee
Right,
or
right,
something like that, you can go and come back and everything is fine, and your opponent doesn't need to be waiting all the time. If, but
right.
also I liked a lot the thing that they are trying new things.
Absolutely, yeah.
I like a lot the it's like a Hearthstone mana system, but adding these new mana spells that it's a little bit more complex. Maybe for new players, but for experienced players, I think that it could be really interesting. I also thought that the gameplay looks really beautiful. The animations are great. I like a lot how they manage it. But also, personally, I prefer more adult theme games.
Right.
I played LOL a couple of years, like 2 years, and I have a lot of fun. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's too much time for me.
Yeah.
Um, and the lore of League of Legends at the start it wasn't too heavy, and they tried to make more things and with these huge animations that I think that everyone loves.
Yeah.
But the kind of narrative for me it's like too soft to being too engaged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also I think that for the kind of world that they are trying to build, the aesthetics and the animations are really
Yeah.
beautiful.
So in the case of League of Legends, it's always been that the lore was very much
Mm.
like secondary. It's not.
Sorry, I was talking too far from the
No,
mic.
I moved it closer. I don't
Ah,
know if
okay,
you
thank you.
realize. Yeah, yeah, I moved it closer, so we're probably fine. Um, so yeah, in League of Legends, the lore was always kind of secondary. It wasn't like the main attraction. You don't play League for lore. You play it just because it's fun to play with against other people. And it really kind of turned me off a bit because I'm a bit of a lore nerd. I do like reading about the stories and getting into the world of the game. And it was kind of disappointing in the regard of League of Legends, where they did have some lore, but sometimes they're just kind of really half-assed it. And I felt insulted when they released the Kindred hero. They're called champion. They when they released Kindred, because I was like really into Kindred. I like this. I like the character itself, and I went into this to see the story. What's this about? And the story was like nobody much knows about them, and they've been here forever, and it's a big mystery, and it's mysterious, and they're mysterious as mystery. And they just kind of, I kind of felt like there was such a big opportunity, and they're just missing it. But the thing what they're doing right now,
Mhm.
because it's not only the card game that they're doing other games as well,
Yeah,
apparently.
like a shooter, a fighting
Yeah,
game,
it's
and
overwhelming the amount of things that they've released in the span of one day. I think it was. It's incredible. But I think that now is a good opportunity for them to actually expand on the lore and really pay attention and add things where they were missing and kind of bring the world together more than it was in League of Legends, I think. So really interesting to see how they take that. Now, what you were saying about the aesthetic, I think the aesthetic is kind of made to look like League of Legends.
Yeah, yeah, of course, and I
Uh-huh.
think that it has to deal with the kind of lore that they are building, and I like to see it, but it's not the kind of game that I love deeply.
Yeah, you're more into like a darker, more mature experience, I guess.
More than darker, yeah, more mature
Yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah, I get it. Not so cartoony, maybe.
Yeah, I like it for some time, but not to be too much engaged on that experience.
I get
But
it.
I think that it looks awesome and
So let me just jump in here. Have you played Dota?
uh,
Because Dota is kind of like a mature version of League of Legends,
yeah, but
supposedly.
it was too hardcore on the gameplay side for
I
me.
get it.
I
I get
like the aesthetics and everything,
it.
but uh, when you make games, also you don't have too much time to play too many games.
Yep. Tell me about it.
Um, and then now I have to choose wisely when I'm going to play.
Yeah. What games you play and how much
Yeah,
time you invert to it's
exactly.
you really have to manage your time. I get it.
So if you have any comments that want to share or that we want to discuss about this announcement, please tell us on the chat.
Hmm.
For us, it's some friends have asked what we think about it, and as Maureen says on different on our social media, for us it's a really great news because we're not competing against Runeterra. We're not competing against Hearthstone. We are offering a more niche experience, I think.
Speedrat saying, I don't like MOBA genre personally, but I would like it if Riot would actually do stories, not just cinematic trailers for League. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I
agreed.
was saying. It's I mean you've got a lot of production. They definitely have the ability to make really cool stuff, but it's always on the surface level. It's really flashy, really nice and fireworks and confetti and whatever. But it's just really surface level. I wish they went deeper into the lore
Yeah.
of their world. And well,
Even if it's a cartoony lore.
mhm.
Yeah, but to go
Yeah, well,
deeper there.
that's what I was saying though. That I feel like branching out into different games where the lore can have a bit more of a more of a center field kind of area in the game. I'm not sure if I'm expressing myself right here, but basically, it's difficult to try and tell lore through a game like League of Legends because most
Mhm.
people don't really care about the lore of the game of League of Legends. But card games and or shooters or whatever game they're making right now just opens up the place where the lore can take a bit more of a central aspect. Maureen is saying apparently the progression of the game seems to be quite interesting though.
Yeah, yeah, they are trying to make some things different. They are taking out the booster packs.
Right.
And what do you think about that? It would be really nice to know your impressions about the some we like 1 year ago we were saying that we also wanted to work without booster packs, but was or first players tell us that they really love to open packs and
Yeah.
boosters, and even for me as as a designer, I like the experience, but because I don't have too much time, I prefer to go uh, on the. I want to go and play what I can. I don't want to be the best player. But booster packs are fun, but are not too too great for me. But what we made on Causa, we have those thematic decks that we are now working on them to have these pre-made strategies for players that really like to play, but they don't have time to spend on deck building.
Right.
And I think that that way of acquiring cards it's really interesting, but I don't know if it's better for a kind of player like myself I like this idea of pre-made decks that I can take and play
Yeah.
immediately, because the other way it's not too different really than booster packs. You have these wild cards that Magic also has.
Right.
I think that those are a great idea. And we are using a system more similar to Hearthstone, where you have these resources that for us is the soul ember
Right.
that you can use to craft new cards. And we want to to try to leverage the level of the rhythm that players can acquire new cards, and we want to have a great experience for players that want to play just free, or players that would like to buy to increase a little bit time but without breaking the game.
Right. Right. Because it's always a bit of kind of dangerous area to step into when you start saying a game is pay to win, right? Because that concept in and of itself was born um, just precisely when you could directly just buy power. And in some games that's just kind of game breaking, right? If you start out with a friend and you both starting, but your friend starts spending money and you're not spending money, he's gonna overpower you really quickly. And that's it's kind of a difficult choice to make in from the side of a game designer, right? Because as a game designer, you kind of want to make money off the game, right? That's kind of the goal is to have what you're working on be a valid source of income for you, so you can live off of what you're doing, right? But then again, you also want to have a game where players feel it's fair, feel it's fun, feel it's balanced. And it's kind of a difficult thing to get to, is to find that point of balance, and where it's making money for the creators, but also the players are happy to spend the money, and also they don't feel that spending money is necessary or needed to be able to play or win.
So, if you have any comments about this topic, you're more than welcome to share it with us.
Yes.
We will be discussing more on every part that on every place that you would like to discuss with us. We are open, as you know, we're really open to all of your opinions on the development, and it's a philosophy that we are following, and we want to keep even after the main launch. So, if you are wanting to see some new things on Causa, you know that we are here for you. And that's why now I want to talk about this new addition of the game. Maybe some players of our internal group have already tested, but as you can see, I released new leaders to the collection.
Many new leaders.
And some of you knows that Causa it's based on uh, wait, speedrun.
Oh, Speedride saying not the case for CCGs, but from this point of view, let me just move this over. It's better to have a premium games or subscription. Free to play is really strange business model. Yes, yeah, that's really important what he's saying. Free to play is kind of strange because free to play has the advantage in where you can actually have a lot of people come in and play your game because you're not giving them a paywall. So I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to play the game, but no, it turns out you need to pay. Even if it was just like $1 for the game, I can't play $1. I need a credit card, or I need to ask my parents, or I can't do it, and that is stopping me from playing the game. And as a designer, you want people to play your game. Of course, that's kind of the goal of designers, to have people play the game. But you also want to make money of it, and that's a trick for games that choose to be free to play, is how you're gonna make money off of free to play games. Now, most free to play games go with the advertising business model. They put in ads or pop ups or whatever. We want to try and avoid that, obviously, especially for PC games. You don't want to put ads
No,
in PC games.
no. Yeah, I really like the model of the of Slay the Spire, where you pay once and you have the game and you can replay, but
Right.
also it's not too viable for a game that it's multiplayer oriented.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Specifically because we're making a multiplayer game, we need people in the game for the game to have content, right? If you go and you click play and there's no one online, you feel like, oh, this it's a dead game and you won't want to play anymore. And that's why it's important for us to have easy access to the game. Why
mhm.
we don't want to have that barrier of entry. It's premium games.
So what we wanted to show you this week, and Gabriel, for you also, it's
I haven't
a
seen these actually.
surprise. Now I want to share some of our basic way of giving content of the game. You know that it's a card game.
Hmm.
This is Causa, and Causa it's a game where you can play a same deck with different leaders or change the deck, and each leader has different decisions. This is
Hmm.
the actual internal version, but you have the new build.
Yeah, well, it's working on it. There's a bit of a hiccup on the
Uh
new
huh.
build. We're hopefully trying to get it out for today, but you know how it is. You
Uh
have
huh.
a few issues. It'll probably be ready for next week's stream though, so we can show off a little bit more then. But yeah, so in the new build right here beneath the leader, if you excuse me, right here beneath the leader, you can actually see their decisions, which is available right now. I think it's in when you're building a deck. Excuse me, just go ahead and
No.
click it. No, yeah, I kind of wanted to show the leader decisions, but I guess we don't want to show that just yet.
Yeah. So this is part of the surprise that we wanted to share
Oh
with you
yeah, there he
for
is.
those that have played Causa at least once. Maybe this part of the screen could be familiar for
Yeah,
you.
that's familiar to me.
You know that we have the four main powers that are glory, wealth, influence, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because this is part of the main lore and the whole um, structure of how the world works on Causa, we have the factions. We have phalanx, clergy, league, brotherhood, sect, and the horde.
Horde.
The horde.
There you go.
Each one it's composed by the mix of the two powers. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have glory, oh,
Oh, well, there's the
yeah,
leader decisions I was telling
uh-huh.
about. Those are now in the leader collections. That's kind of what I was trying to show off.
So all the six factions are composed by the mixture of two of the basic powers.
Right.
So if you have glory and you have wealth, you have the phalanx.
Right.
If
Phalanx is like the imperial army
yeah,
of the.
they represent the order. They want to control the power on each society. We're going to speak more about factions the next week, but today it's just to to show you that this is part of the new things that are coming for the next internal version, but
Mm-hmm.
also for the upcoming demo that
Oh yeah.
we're going to announce really soon. And we're really happy about it. The League, it's a mixture between wealth and influence. The Brotherhood, it's glory with influence. The Sect, it's wealth with spirit. And the
Mm-hmm.
Horde, it's glory with spirit.
I think you missed clergy, which is spirit
Okay.
and influence.
Yeah. And we have these factions. I'm going to go fast because we don't have too much time,
Right.
and we want to go directly to the campaign.
Right on.
And
Well, I think you have the to be able to select any of these factions. You need to have at least one leader from them. So right now, this panel is showing up because you do have a leader of the faction,
uh-huh.
which is Nilset.
Yeah, Nilset, it's now part of the sect. Now
Right.
that we're launching all the factions at the main at the core set of the game,
Mm-hmm.
Nilset has joined the sect
Right.
as it was intended to be. Previously, for those that are joining us here for the first time, well, Causa it's a collectible card game. It's based on an exotic and dark fantasy world where you have four main powers that are glory, wealth, influence, and spirit. And we have these factions that we speak a little bit, and we're going to speak more. And previously, we had only leaders from only one power.
Right.
those leaders that are independent from for of the factions. And Neil said previously it was a playable leader, but only
Only for
for spirit,
spirit, right?
because we wanted to start the balancing without the factions, because the factions can mix two powers. And now we can see that Neil said, that now is part of the sect, can have cards from wealth and also from spirit. So now you
Right.
can mix your aristocrats with witches, you can use mentalists with mercenaries, and you can build strategies now combining two powers that it's part of the core structure of the lore of Causa.
Now I'm really excited for this because this means that the whole balancing that was done previously regarding each individual power is now about to be tested once you start mixing them together. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. How once you can actually combine powers between each other, what kind of combinations you can actually come up with, and this really opens up the door for many creative expressions in whenever it comes to deck building.
Mm-hmm. And oh,
The mouse die? I think the mouse died. Oh, there it is.
so now we're going to this new feature.
Right. So we also wanted to speak about the campaign mode.
So now we have the first available campaign. We're going to have different campaigns for different leaders, but right now you can play the campaign of Matriara.
Mm-hmm.
Matriara, she's the general of Elir, the only independent region of the empire and also of the clans of Terak.
And Madrid is still just glory.
Yeah, she's the one of the few leaders that aren't part of any faction.
Mm-hmm.
So she's independent, and on this campaign, she's going to fight against the dusk. So the campaign, it's a mode where you can pay with the soft currency, the or with the paid currency.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to say that in Causa you can earn both currencies by playing with different missions.
Right.
So this currency, the Organite, it's not only you can get it by playing, but in a slow pace, or you can pay to have more
Right.
of them. And with gold, you can only earn it by playing. You can pay for it.
Right. You
Mhm.
can't pay for
You
gold.
can.
Right.
So, hi, Freak Up. Welcome.
Welcome.
It's great to see you here. So, this is the campaign.
Right.
And
I've shown this off before in a previous stream, but the campaign itself is a bit of a unique system in where the campaign is a draft mode. So when you start a campaign, we just purchased a new Madeira campaign. We need to create a deck, and the deck that we will create is based on the randomly selected cards that are now shown on the screen.
Mhm. So, we are going to select 3 cards. We're going to play a little bit against uh, these enemies that we're going to face that are part of the Dusklings, the creatures that live at the dusk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this drafting. I'm going to go with some steady cards like the Venetian Navigator, this one.
Okay.
It's a 1/4 that at the start of your turn invokes goods. The goods are cards that can give you, can gather. That means that they can collect cards from your discard.
Mm-hmm. And back into your deck.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I usually try to have at least one of these cards because sometimes there are some opponents that will burn my deck, and
Mhm.
a card like this one, maybe with one or two, could be enough on this specific campaign. There are going to be also campaigns more deck focused, or they're more damage focused, and you know against who are playing at the start of the campaign.
Right.
You're going to have a screen where where you can see, this is going to be the leader that you're going to fight against, and that means that you can draft knowing what kind of strategy could this enemy have.
I see.
I'm going to go also with the Telarian crossbow woman,
Solid choice.
And I'm going to go with the Wall Builder. This one is
Okay.
for 3 a 3/3, have nice stats, and also when I play it, I will win 1 health for each friendly support.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of going a little bit of everything in glory. You
Uh-huh.
got a warrior, survivor, and a laborer.
Yeah, I'm going to leave these ones behind for
Mhm.
the first choice.
Speedrat says, speaking of drafting, it'd be interesting if you could do at least one discard reshuffle if I'm unlucky and I want like any card available.
I think that it's a good idea. I would like to see something like that. I don't know if it's too hard to implement. It takes time. Every change takes time for us, and you know that we are a small team developing this game. But all the things that you're saying, we're taking
We're
note,
taking
and
notes, yeah.
we want to implement all.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, because this is bit especially was developed mostly by Boris. I did the front end, but the cards that are sent here are done on server side, and I think that they are predetermined groups of cards. It's not like you just randomly select any card. It's okay. You select this group of 6 cards, I
Yeah,
think.
but you can
And
you can have a button to reshuffle,
well,
and take another one.
maybe actually that might actually really be possible. We'll have to run it by bodies
Yeah.
either way, but that's not a bad idea.
It's on the list. Great idea, Speedrat. Thank you for the feedback. Now, here we have one of the strongest glory cards, the Catapult.
Mhm.
I'm going to go for it because in my experience playing against the Dusk, if you reach the level 7, this is one of the best cards that you can use because you can control the board, destroying one of the biggest enemies of
Mhm.
the opponent's side. But also, um, if you're lucky, there's another card that it's called Talarian Tools that gives a card another
Yeah,
use.
I've seen that one.
So
Yeah,
a card like this one can be used to destroy 2 cards regarding which one.
it's pretty good.
And
I think I'd go for maybe the green Razorback. I always like that skill. It's vigilant and aggressive.
let's go with that. And I'm going with this one too. The Blackwood Scout. It's a card that for 3 is a 2/2, has hidden. That means that when it's played, it can't be attacked or targeted, and has range. Range means that if she attacks, she doesn't take damage back.
Right.
Now
Good
we
stuff.
have 6. We can see the curve here. We're missing cards of level 1. So I think that I'm going to take this one, the Armed Settler. As you can see,
Placeholder art.
there's a placeholder art on this card. We discussed it about some days ago on a past stream. Hi, Usar. Welcome here. It's great to
Welcome,
see
Usar.
you. Thank you for
Speedrat
all the
said-
feedback.
Speedrat said he's used the tools on the talisman. It's really
Yeah,
powerful. Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's a great combo.
works out really well.
And so we're going with this level 1 card.
I would pick up
Um,
Dismantle.
Dismantle. It's a great choice on this draft especially
Yeah.
because the Dusk has really powerful cards, but and also have special supports that give power to every Ashen Souls that are the cards that it's using, and also has a card that deals 1 damage to every ally that isn't an Ashen Soul. So it's making constant damage, and at least 1 or 2 cards to destroy supports can be really, really helpful.
So the catapult can do that, and you also got Dismantle
Yeah.
as well, so
And
it's pretty
with
good.
that, I think that we have enough to start.
We're probably good, yeah.
Maybe we can go with another level 1 card to have a better start.
Sure. I'd actually go with sharpened weapons, but I'm more of an aggressive kind of player, maybe.
I'm going with the Iron Sword.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's not level 1, but
I was
sure.
playing before the streaming, and I played the whole campaign in a row. I didn't lose any match. I didn't lose any life because you have 3 lives.
Right.
And on that play, Laru, hi, welcome.
Welcome.
That's great. It's great to have you here. On this previous play, uh, I didn't draft any card that could destroy a support, and
Uh-huh.
I thought that I was going to lose immediately. But I won. I used a really fine combo. If we have some of those cards, I'm going to share it. If not, you need to discover it by your. Here we have another of the most powerful cards in
Ballista's
Glory.
really good.
Ballista. Ballista, when you activate, when you use it, it deals 5 damage to an enemy character. That means that you can use your Ballista to target an enemy ally or the opponent's leader.
That's 5 damage to an opponent. It's really good.
So I'm going to use this one, and with that I think that we have really strong supports. So I'm not going to take the other catapult to make the curve more balanced.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to use. It's hard now to choose because the Citadelian Innkeeper works when you have
Supplies.
supplies.
You don't have supplies yet, though.
Mhm.
If you get lucky, you might get supplies, but there's no guarantee that you will.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not going to go with it, and I'm trying to have a high level deck. Going with the Temerian Climber, it's a Vigilant 2/6. It could stop some attacks, and also when it's attacked, your opponent expends 1. And I discovered that with some of the more difficult stages of this Dusk campaign,
Mm-hmm.
you if you survive enough, your opponent could die by fatigue.
Okay.
So I'm going with this one, and because it's going to be a hard, there are going to be hard matches at the start. I'm going to gamble for the late game, and that's why I'm going to choose the White Forest Hunter. This one, while your health is 10 or less, that I think that it's going to be happening a lot because I'm not going to have a really good start. It has +3 attack and vigilant, so now we have 2 powerful cards that can stop those damage. That damage.
Okay. Oh, look, you've got work. You could have picked up the innkeeper.
Yeah. Work, it's an event that invokes goods and 2 supplies. And
That's
I
good.
think that, yeah, we're going with this
Yeah,
one.
either way, yeah,
Yeah.
with or without the innkeeper, it's pretty
We're
good.
going to have a low deck. That's mean a slow deck. That means that a card like manuscripts could be really useful because on the first turns I can play this one, and when I use it, it will allow me to play another card on the turn. So if I have high level cards, if I survive to that turn, I will be able to play more than 2 cards per turn. So I'm going with this one. And I'm going with.
I like the herbalist personally.
Let's go with the herbalist.
Okay.
Yeah, Speedrat, it's saying that he will pick battle, but in this case, I'm not taking battle because Matriara, being a warrior leader, she has battle as one of their main decisions.
Oh, right, that's true.
That means that at level 4, if I have a bad start, I can use it to clean the board and then go with my high level cards.
Mm-hmm. I always like the aggressive raging soldier.
Yeah, let's go with this one.
Though you are doing for a late game, so maybe you want a bit more of a defensive. Maybe instead of the soldier, the wall builder. I don't know. Instead of the raging soldier, maybe pick up the wall builder.
The wall builder, but we don't have too many.
I mean, you've got the iron sword, you've got the manuscripts, and you've got the navigator, which invokes. You've got work, which invokes as well.
Let's go with the wall builder, but also the Venetian fisherman. That he will summon another support.
Mm-hmm.
And
lashing.
Or we can go with this one, and then we have another support for the deck.
Pretty good.
Let's go for the supports. Let's see how it works.
There's the tools. There's the tools. You got to pick up the tools.
Yeah. Now we have the tools, and we're going to go with. Let's see the curve. We need level 4 and level 5 cards. Let's go with those.
All right, good enough.
I think that this one could work better because we're going with this late strategy. So maybe we're going to be with health 10 or less a lot of times, and we need strong cards like this one.
Okay.
Now,
You have the Emblem of Glory available. That's a legendary card,
uh-huh.
and you do have a mix and match of all the what do you call it, of all the archetypes for Glory. So you could maybe pull it off. Now I don't know if you have a good balance of them though. I know you have at least one of each, but maybe not many more.
7 survivors. I have a survivor deck.
All right, never
it's
mind
not
then.
going to be too useful.
Maybe the bow instead. The bow is always
Yeah,
good.
the bow it's always good. The Serial Farmer will
Perfect.
grant 2 more supports, and we can go with the Vulcanian Miner or go with the Heroic Harange.
I mean, you keep saying you're going for a late game deck, so maybe the Harange is the way to go.
I think that both works well with. Yeah, let's go with this one.
Mhm.
We need some level 2, level 5 cards. I'm going with the level 5. We have not too good level 2. We can go with the same logic. More supports, and
You can actually pick up a third wall builder. You
Yeah.
have a lot of supports right now.
Yeah, exactly. With this one, we can
Rain of
clean
Arrow
the
is
board, and we can have more support. No, I think that we're fine.
Yeah, I think you have overkill supports.
Yeah.
Martial training.
This one is the last choice.
Oh, it is. Yes.
We have 27 of 30, and with this one, we're going to start the campaign. So, Rain of Arrows, it's a secure choice in this case.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 events.
Maybe pick up the martial training as well.
Martial training, okay.
So that sets us at 4.
I think the Raging Solar, it's always.
Okay. What about the Causa? I think you have enough level 3s.
Level 2, yeah, let's go.
Alright, this should do it.
So, now we're ready to play.
Okay.
Hi, Albi, saludos.
Nice.
It's great to have you here too.
So it says here, this is episode 1 versus the Suffering Ashen Soul. And the lore says, in the dusk, the spirits repeat again and again the last moment of their lives. That's why many fight, even though in the grips of despair. Okay.
So,
kind of haunting. I like it.
Going to. Zerk, welcome. It's great to have you here, and thank you for playing the campaign. As you can see, now we have some lore included on the campaign.
Yep, that's a step up from text A and placeholder.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let's do it. Suffering Ashen Soul. This is Matiara versus the Dusk.
For those who doesn't know, the campaign mode it's based on 7 steps. The first 2 steps are going to be against different random easy leaders. This one is one of the easy matches. Then we have 2 medium matches. Also, it's a pool of different matches that you can have on this way against the Dusk. Then you have 2 difficult matches, and then you have a match against the leader of the Dusk. And there are 2 possible leaders when you play the Dusk campaign. And now we're starting against the Suffering Ashen Soul. So, the mulligan, we're going to get out of the catapult and work. We're going to keep with the 2 level 2 cards. Usually I say that it's better to change all cards of level 3 or higher, but sometimes it could be better to keep one of those, especially if you want to have a high level card that you want to dedicate to keep it for later on the game. So now, the Suffering Ashen Soul played a Suffering Ashen Soul and a Lost Ashen Soul. As you can see, all the Dusk cards has the keyword Ashen Soul,
which right now is mistakenly saying exhausted.
Yeah.
But that'll be fixed in the next patch.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Ashen Soul is a very particular skill in that at the end of their turn they will be damaged by 1. So Ashen Souls per their lore, are always kind of getting destroyed and being rebuilt and getting destroyed constantly. So that's why at the end of it's at the end of every turn or at the end of their
It's
turn.
at the start of their turn.
Oh, at the start of their turn, they will receive 1 damage.
Yeah, because they're spirits born from the ashes or aberrations born from the ashes, and they appear and they start losing their own body. So that's why they're stronger than all cards, but they are receiving constant damage.
Right.
So I'm going to dedicate a card,
Mm-hmm.
and the only card that I can play it's the amulet.
Now you could activate it right away, but I don't really see there's much rush
no,
to it.
No, it's not necessary
And
yet.
they've only got 3 damage.
The amulet
It's fine.
grant us +1 cost and +1 play for the turn. That means that our cost will rise 1, and we, instead of playing 2 cards per turn, we will be able to play 2. More than 2.
Right, 3 in this regard. But since you've already played the amulet, it'll only be down to 2. Oh, there's the damage from the Ashen Souls, so they're now weakened. And the Dusk is healing them up. Oh, well, that's kind of terrifying.
The Suffering Ashen Soul has also leader decisions. In this case, we can see that their first decision was or heal their friendly characters or fortify, winning 5 health for the leader.
Yo, these Ashen Souls seem really powerful. I mean, they just played this really, really strong event at level 2. And yeah, I'm kind of scared here.
But remember that at level 4 we are going to be able to use our battle on our decision. So I'm going to win some time by winning health.
Good call.
I'm going to play the Evanescent Fisherman as a bait, and he's going to summon a support that we can use it for the wall builder.
Perfect.
And I'm going to play the Talarian Crossbow Woman, even
I think that was a mistake.
It's going to.
I mean, at least
fall.
Yeah, it'll fall, but at least it'll take 10 damage instead of you, right? It's kind of what we're going. Oh, he's got another one.
Yeah, this one it's the Consumed Settlement. It's a support for the Dusk that grants +1 attack to all Ashen Souls, and now has 2 of these on the board. That means that it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
So now I'm 12.
Yeah. So, okay, I think what you need to do is play the wall builder and heal as much as possible.
This is
but not yet.
You
need to add more supports.
I'm going to attack to the face. I'm going to dedicate the Fisherman. Now I have 3. I'm going to activate the amulet.
Ah, brilliant. And there's the battle.
Now I have the decision on level 4 between summoning a Frontier Combatant at level 2, 3, 2, or play battle, deal 3 damage to all characters, and that's what I'm going to do. So
nicely done.
This one is a 3/1 that it's going to die at the start of the turn. Now I can play 3 cards, and I can play the bow. I'm going to play the wall builder.
Okay, that'll heal you a bit.
And I'm going to play the
Blackwood Scout.
This one enters hidden and has range.
Now you could heal yourself right away, but it's best to hold on to it in case you get another wall builder.
Yeah, Alvi saying that he likes a lot that we have a campaign mode available. You can know more about the lore of the game. It's for the next patch. It's going to be available on English and also in Spanish. And I hope that we're going to have more than this campaign against the Dusk. But all leaders will have a campaign against the Dusk, and also one or more campaigns.
All right. Since you've got the Rain of Arrows, you can probably clear the board because that'll deal 2 damage to everyone.
Yeah.
And that'll leave the other one with just 2 points of health, which you can take off with the bow, and that'll leave them both at 1, which will kill them off at the start of the next turn. So you can clear the board with 1 Rain of Arrows plus activating the bow. And
yeah, I think it's a good idea. The Rain of Arrows. I'm going to use the bow. I have one play left, and
You should dedicate probably.
yeah, but I'm going to start with this one too.
Mm-hmm.
This will grant me a shift for my hand, and I think that I can dedicate the shift to keep these two cards in my hand.
That's smart.
And I'm going to attack to the face, and those are going to die right now.
Nice. Maureen is saying, Nico Lazy, please tell us again why this game mode is so special. Okay, so aside from being the way to get lore off the game, the campaign mode is built on a draft deck. So when you start a campaign, you need to create a new deck each time. So each time you play the campaign is a different experience.
And also, when you play, you're going to be able to play different campaigns with each leader, so you can explore different aspects of their stories. Sometimes you will notice that different leaders may fight against the same enemies, and you will have to face them on different ways regarding the leader that you're going to use. Now, here we have a 5-2 and a 4-1. As you can see,
Are they Ashen Souls as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're Ashen. This one is going to die the next turn.
You can just bow the other one, right?
Bow the other one.
Perfect.
Remember that this one is the easy match.
That's kind of terrifying.
I can.
I would actually play the sword.
Let's go aggressive, or
what's the Sherpa do? It's not Sherpa, the climber.
Vigilant. Yeah, let's go with the iron sword. I'm going to use the wall builder.
Perfect.
To use the sword here and to go more aggressive.
Nice.
I'm going to dedicate the Tarkalian tools.
You can require them later on.
And they die.
So Zerx is saying that when you see it with the music, you like it a lot. Is the music off? I feel like we're not playing music. Can you maybe click on the options, make sure the music is playing? Well, there's a problem. Let me just check the audio levels. I think, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that should do it. Whoops, nice catch there.
So now he's 11. We have a 6-5, a 3-4.
Do you have lethals yet? Maybe not.
4, 7. We need 4 damage. Maybe at the cost we have more. Here we have 2.
9, 10.
We need.
I think you're
2 more.
You're 2. Am I counting wrong? I've
got
7 plus 9, the bow 8, 9, 10.
And we need 1 damage.
I think you got it. Do you have a level 6 decision that'll do damage?
Yeah, we can do it.
Perfect. There, you got it.
So now I can dedicate a card. Now my decision level 6, it's ready. So I can give +1/+1 to all my characters, or add an Illyrian Guardian to my hand. I'm not going to do that.
Just go for the kill.
And now we have 11.
Require the shiv.
It's not necessary.
Require the shiv.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely necessary.
It's necessary.
If you don't require the shiv before you attack.
Remember that we can dedicate cards to our cost. That's the resource system, and also we can play 1 card from our cost once per turn. That's what I did. I played this shiv. I'm going to give it to our wall builder and
there we
attack
go.
to the face.
Perfect. So that was first level of the campaign. The easy mode. Okay, I'm kind of concerned of how difficult this might be if that was easy. So next up is the Ashen Soul Vulture. Lore says a fast shadow almost tears your head off on the flight. A bird that changed the carrion for fresh praise watches you, waiting for a second chance. Okay, I think we might need to go over the text a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of a difficult read, but
it's only in Spanish right now. This one, it's a quick translation. We're going to ask your help on the Discord channel. So, especially players that are really into the lore or into the grammar aspects of the game, all of this, it's going to be discussed on the Discord channel. But right now,
we definitely do appreciate help, though. Right. So do we have time to play another one? I feel like we might be cutting it a bit close. Might have to play this one quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be fast. This is going to be our last match for today. The next week we're going to be playing for the start of the streaming. We're going to be playing most of the campaign that we can. And I'm going to start with the draft, and then we're going to play as much as we could.
All right.
So in this case, I'm going to keep this one. Some of you are laughing about the amount of resources and gold that has this account. This one is just for testing. When the game will start, we're going to delete all the gold and resources of all the developers, and we're going to start from zero.
I actually have two accounts. I have one that's for developer and one that's just kind of for my own personal account, kind of feel how the game progresses normally. But I ended up having to cheat on that one as well because I needed someone to test against. So I was like, oh, I'll just play against my other account, and they needed money, and I just kind of gave me money and cheated, and never mind. So yeah, I think we'll just have to reset all the accounts either way, which is gonna happen regardless.
As you can see, I'm dedicating the high level cards. I'm going to go for the resistance. I don't have any level 2 card, but we know that it's part of the drafting strategy that we're taking on this case. We're trying to survive and not take too much damage.
Oh, he's going for a mill strategy.
The Ashen Soul Vulture has on their first decision heal 3 all friendly characters, or can sabotage by making you expend 3 cards from your deck. That means that now I'm disadvantaged on the deck side, so I have to win instead of waiting too much time.
Speedrun saying I'm just lazy, so I do cheat. I'm not gonna deny it, but I'm not happy about that comment. I resemble that remark. Okay. I feel like you're doing pretty well on this one compared to the other one. Though this one is a bit more of a deck-oriented kind of discard strategy, maybe. So, well, I think you're fine though. Like, comparatively speaking, you're doing a lot better than you were doing in the previous game.
Yeah, but in this case, I think that I'm going to use the same thing that I did before. I'm going to attack. I'm going to dedicate, and I'll use the battle.
Nice.
So to clean the board. And I have 2 cards to play, and I'm going to play the Cereal Farmer. Initiative invokes 2 supplies. Now we have...
And then the Builder.
2, and the Builder plus 1 health for each friendly support. Or wombo combo, and now we have a lot of resistance.
Brilliant.
To keep playing.
Well played.
Those are going to die.
Speed rides, we're just messing around, don't worry about it.
One of the things that has the campaign also is that the universe or the pool of cards that you can take depends on the leader that you're playing. So if you're playing with Matriara, you're not using all the glory cards. You're using only cards that are coherent with their strategy.
Right.
I'm going to use the Rain of Arrows. Those are going to die now. And the other wall builder, we're going to have a lot of resistance on this match. We can be...
Yeah, you got this. There's no way you can lose.
Yeah, the 2 first matches usually are easy.
I mean, the first one had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And he just threw out a 5-5.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
You have to wait. There are really scary dusk creatures waiting. We have new enemies available on this campaign, and some of you that already played, you know that those are really scary creatures. But it's getting each time fun. So it's on 13. We have 6.
You don't quite have
7,
just
8,
yet.
9. Yes, we have.
Yeah? 6.
We can use the shift. We can
Eight.
use the sword. We can use our leader decision.
Oh,
Plus
there
one,
it
plus
is.
one.
Perfect. That's
And
just perfect.
even I can
And you
use
actually
the
have the
Terkalian
bow.
bow.
Just for a bit of overkill.
Yeah, exactly. And then
That should do it. Nice. Well played. I feel like you've played this game before.
yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Oh, that's horrifying.
This one is one of those new creatures that
Yo, I hadn't
probably
seen
you
this
haven't
one.
seen.
I had not seen this one. This is the Abyssal Overseer. An eye of the abyss moves slowly, but you know they're dangerous. If it sees you, you'll have to destroy it or it will bring fire from the ashes. That's horrifying. Look at it, it's kind of creepy. It's got all these tentacles and stuff. Oh, I don't want to see that.
On the next stream, we're going to play the whole campaign, I hope, on 1 hour. That's our challenge. Or maybe we can lose because
It's I believe it.
the two first matches are more easy. You can test your deck and you can know how it's working. Then the two of medium difficulty, they are challenging, and the last three, you need to know how to perfect to optimize your strategy because it's really really hard.
Awesome.
But also it's really fun.
I bet. Yeah.
A lot of fun testing it. It was really surprising because when you're designing, it's different your experience. But with this campaign,
You're having fun with it?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
That's
I
a
want
good
to play
sign.
it again.
That's a very good sign.
So this one, it's going to be one of the new creatures, and you have to wait to see the other ones.
Right. Well, we'll have to see them next week. For now, then, thank you, Nico, once again for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for